Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tommy, and welcome to another episode of Reading Free Runner Volume 1, The Beginning of Nightmares. Oh my god, that took a lot out of me already. It's too early in the morning for this shit. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tommy, as I said in the intro, and it is good to see you all again. Thank you for coming back to read another chapter of the cringy book I wrote in middle school. We're just going to ignore that fell. Woo! Chapter 5 time. All right, let's get into it, right? Boom. Free Runner, Volume 1, Beginning of Nightmares. Cringy as fuck. That's chapter 11, chapter 8. Where are we at, though? Chapter 6, okay. Oh, fuck. Oh, we're going to read more than one chapter. Chapter 5 is a page front and back. Okay, so we left off with the convertible that he was in exploding. So, I'm dreaming, right? I'm hanging by my hands, bloody and cut up. I still feel the flames from the explosion. Am I at a firing range? I see people in the distance, but they're too far out. They're too far away to notice faces. Then there was a bang, and I was awake again. I'm huddled against a trash can in an alley. Everybody's still walking around as if nothing happened. Hey, psst, a voice whispered. I looked around until I saw a man. He had huge muscles and a scruffy beard. Come over here, he said, motioning for me to come towards him. I wrote form, F-O-R-M-E, and I meant to say for me. Charred and limply, I crawled towards him. Limply, that's a new one to me. I crawled towards him. He grabbed me by the shoulder and threw me into the sewer. A burst of hot rushed over me as the man cleaned my wounds with a rag. Cough. Who, cough, cough, are you? I sputtered. I wrote the word cough. I literally wrote cough. I forget what they're called. Quote, who dash quote, cough, cough, quote, are you, question mark, end quote. I sputtered. It's me, Nikolai. Melody and harmony are deeper in the sewer, he said. But I barely heard him. I was still stuck that they were alive. That's why I was surprised when he lifted me up and carried me through the sewer. Lights are dazing in and out. Am I still tired? No. The lights are horrible in here. Wait, there's a light. Is this it? Did the explosion and falling do me in? I wrote D-U-E for do. No! Wait! I croaked as a giant hole blew through the ceiling. I jumped off Nikolai's shoulders and pulled him back. I limped as fast as I could over towards the hole. A war zone had broke out during the last few minutes. Come on! I yelled over the sound of gunfire. I grabbed the moist rag Nikolai used to clean my wounds and put it around the lower hemisphere of my face. There's probably chemicals on that, dude, but he's using it as a mask. Catch! Nikolai yelled as he threw me a Glock 42, a long barrel suppressor mix. It also has a fast mag. I nod and bound out of the hole. I played a lot of Call of Duty back in the day. Here's what I drew. Alright, chapter 6. Chapter 6 is how long? Well, chapter 6 actually looks... It's almost... chapter 5 and 6 together are almost the regular length of a chapter. Outside, there were 4 buildings, and there was a cross-section, the cross-shaped kind. An intersection. I was describing an intersection. The buildings were at each corner of the cross-section. Police were posted on the east road. Homeless and slaves were posted on the south side. All civilians were at the west section. But still, the SR were posted at the north side. They had snipers posted at each building to take the element of surprise. Well, are you going to stand there? Or Chris spoke up for the first time in a while. No, I said faithfully, as I ran at the southwest building and began to climb. Windowsill by windowsill, I climbed as fast as humanly possible. Then, there was one last sill to use to get on the roof. I jumped at it, but the overhang of the sill shattered and I began falling, but a hand grabbed me and pulled me up. I prefer to kill my targets, not let them fall to their death, an old scruffy voice said as a bullet was shot into my stomach with an E on the end. I lifted up my jacket to reveal a bulletproof vest. Then I grabbed the Glock and shot him in the head. After that, I grabbed the sniper rifle and silently suppressed the other snipers. Everything shook a little bit, and the building I was on began collapsing under my feet. "Jump!" a familiar voice yelled. I looked around for a safe area. There's a fountain in the center. I don't know, not much of a choice. The SR were ready to fire at me. I turned around and jumped to the neighboring roof. Then I ran and jumped again onto another roof. By now, SR had opened fire after me. Explosions and bullets opened fire as I ran, some at me, others at the distracted SR. Finally, I reached what could have been the end. SR guns behind me and a plane right in front of me. Heat built up inside me, anger, fear, but most of all, memories. My parents taking me to karate class when I was 5, gymnastics when I was 7, paintball when I was only 9. This is my parents' fault. The nightmares, fights, deaths, this is all their fault. This is their fault. It's their fault, I said to myself. The pilot of the plane looked startled. My name's Maxwell Cummins. That's my parents' fault, I yelled as I jumped onto the cockpit's window and banged on the glass, repeating, yelling, remembering. The pilot slammed the altitude gain, and we rose farther and farther up until I wish I hadn't fought with Jonathan Daniels. When I finally cracked the window, he slammed on the eject button, slamming me straight up whilst he floated down gently. No, 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 no. I looked down as I began my descent and made myself straight as I could. I was gaining closer and closer until I tackled into the pilot. We battled it out until I remembered my Glock. I grabbed it and fired a whole clip, but they missed because the pilot was grabbing my forearm to make me miss. We were both fighting for privilege of the gun until he batted my hand and sent the Glock flying. We looked down. "Fetch," I said as I pulled him off and he was sent flying down. I knew better than to strap myself 30,000 feet into the air to a chair. I strapped it anyway because I thought I might fall asleep. Of course, I was correct. This time I was 5. I tiptoed down the steps. It was Christmas Eve. I got down the steps only to see my parents aiming their guns at each other. I tried to yell. I wanted them to stop, but when I spoke, it wasn't my voice. "Shoot! Pull the bloody trigger!" it yelled. My parents obeyed. Everything froze as I studied the crimson-red blood drops that emerged from behind my parents' head. I guess my parents had one head? The scene slowly shifted. Now we were in a dark room. I had a pistol pointed at a man's head. The man was light chocolate skinned. He had a black soul patch and a mustache. Okay, before I continue, I just want to show the drawing that was on here of him jumping onto the plane thing. What the heck? What the heck? He was broad-shouldered but also very skinny. He's tied to a chair while I was thinking whether to shoot him or not. "Who's he?" Chris asked. "He's," I said, but I was awoken. I'm falling, only feet from the sidewalk. My body wants to scream in pain as I collide to the ground. My vision fades whilst I don't even know how to pronounce that. I've only ever read it. I witness a man drag me away. He was chocolate skinned with a black soul patch and a black mustache. Now that's a cliffhanger for a chapter. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell if it's up at that corner, which I don't think it is, but I'm going to keep pointing up there out of force of habit. And this is Spider Tom signing out. I hope you have a wonderful day.